This week on today's Homeowner, we're converting a cool covered outdoor living space into an even cooler indoor space by building a single wall. We're not only creating an area that can be used year-round, we're adding some great amenities to make it the most popular room in the house. Man, what a beautiful neighborhood filled with some very attractive houses. Well, I understand this street didn't look this way about 15 years ago. Now, we're in Mobile, Alabama, and as part of an urban revitalization program, they removed all of the old derelict buildings and then made all of the lots available so that homeowners could come down and experience downtown living and live in a house that is built just to their standards. That's exactly what John and Brenda Elsevier have done. They built a really nice house, very attractive, a lot of cool features, and exactly the type of structure they want to live in. They also have the very neat outside living area that they use almost year-round, but we're going to make just a few alterations. Actually, some of the work's already started on it so that they can use it all year long. And we're going to let Brenda tell you the whole story. Brenda, when I first saw this room, I was amazed at how large it is. This is a big place.
It is. It's a room that we've had a lot of fun in, a lot of parties in. But we finally got to where we are now, which is we're not using it as much as we should be using it. So we want to get more use out of it.
What's motivating you to do all this? Because it looks pretty darn perfect like it is.
It is perfect, except for a couple of things. One is that living in downtown Mobile, we're near the coal plants, we're near the box cars that carry the coal, and if the wind's blowing the wrong way, unfortunately, we have coal dust in here.
Really? It infiltrates even though you're a little ways off the water here.
It does. It really does. And I can clean the courtyard completely, come in the next day. It's ready to be cleaned again.
Yeah, well, I see this. Of course, the guys have already started stirring up some dust, but I guess I can see what you mean there. It is kind of...
It's black.
Yeah.
It's black.
Wow. Boy, a nice white blouse like you have there wouldn't stay white very long, would it?
No, I wouldn't get near that right now. And of course, the other reason is the temperature here in Mobile. It only allows us to spend so many months out here and be comfortable.
Right.
The heaters are great in the winter time, but summer, we just, it's not cool enough out here.
Yeah. Well, it's well designed, and certainly, you can benefit from this room all the way around, all the different parts of your house. But what are the plans here? I know we're closing it in, but give us a few of the details of some of the things you're planning on doing.
Well, of course, the first thing is fountain has to go. That's my heartache.
I heard that's a little sad moment there.
Yes, it's a very sad moment because the fountain was the center of this room. A lot of people, when they walked through the front door, thought they were in the house. And then they looked here and they were like, oh my gosh, I've never seen this before. Like I said, I have a favorite picture of one of my grandsons sitting there. So that one will be blown up in frame to remember my fountain by.
But I understand you're gonna put a fireplace in, so that'll still be a similar look.
It will be, and we're really excited because we thought, well, if we close this room off, all it takes is closing this opening. So let's put a fireplace in, and of course the man has to have his TV.
Oh yeah, you gotta have
above
a TV.
the fireplace, and then the doors on both sides, the glass doors, which will still give us plenty of light in here.
Sure,
We're not really losing what this room is about. Basically that's it. We will take the heaters out, redo the ceiling.
Yeah, the ceiling's beautiful. I mean, what are you planning on doing with that?
Well, we want to go white up there, and get it, since it's kind of faded some. We want to go white up there and do it all one color.
I see a lot of beach houses done that way, where you have the 1x6 V groove like that, and almost kind of a whitewash look to it.
That's what we're looking for.
Is that right? Great.
That's what we're looking for right here. But basically, we want this room to really be one you can live in. We have one living area now. When my grandchildren come over and Poppy wants to watch the news, it doesn't work. Now, The grandchildren can come out here and Papa
Perfect.
can watch his news in there.
That's perfect.
Great area, great area.
Well, I tell you, I know the guys are about to come back from break and they're going to be tearing out the fountain, so I'm going to escort you inside to
I
kind
don't
of
want to see that.
keep down the
I do
trauma
not
a
want to
little
see
bit.
that.
Brenda has a great attitude, but it's a good thing we're getting her out of here because the guys really tear into that precious fountain of hers with a jackhammer. Meanwhile, Mark, the foreman here, starts peeling off the stucco around the cased opening so that we can tie it into the framing. Now, this kind of demolition is hard work when you have to do it all by hand. But in this case, the debris has to be removed from the job site the same way. Now, I've lost count of the number of wheelbarrow loads that have gone up and down this narrow alley to the trailer, but I suspect these guys will remember every single one of them over the next few days. Under the stucco, above the opening, Mark finds some pretty serious wood rot damage that has to come out of there, but fortunately, the new wall will support some of the load this beam used to carry. Now, since the inside and outside will be on the same level, the guys seal the underside of the treated base plate with a rubber membrane material before framing the wall up above it. New laminated beams will carry the weight over the two doorways, and in very little time, the inside walls for the fireplace are going in. While these guys wrap up this, let's check out Joe's simple solution.
Did you know that falls are the #1 cause of death and injury around the home? That's why it's so important to make your house as safe as possible at every stage of life. Now, wooden steps are particularly dangerous because they become wet and slippery when they're outdoors. So one way to protect yourself is to put down abrasive strips. You can get this at any hardware store or home center. It comes in various widths, and it's basically sandpaper with an exterior adhesive on the back. And all you need to do is peel off the wax paper backing and stick it down. And you want to place it relatively close to the front edge, the leading edge of the step, because that's where you're going to be putting your foot down. So this is about a ½ inch or so away. So peel off the backing, press it down. You'll notice that I snipped off the corners because will reduce the chance of it peeling up. Now you just have to put one strip on each of the treads and make all the steps really safe.
What a nasty, dreary day. It's really limiting the amount of work we can do on this project. Now, this project's a little unique. What we're doing is closing in an open patio area by installing a couple door units with a fireplace in the middle so that the homeowners can use this great big room every day of the year. Now, originally, it was pretty nice looking with a large fountain area right in the middle, and it seemed like a good idea, but again, by closing it up, they can get a lot more use out of this place. Now, the door units we'll be using will match what's existing with two full view glass doors with an arched transom above it. We'll also be matching the stucco finish that's on the interior of the walls around the doors, as well as on this framework that'll house a gas fireplace. Now, a lot of people are finding out about how you can put a gas fireplace here and a nice large flat screen TV above it. And that's what we'll be doing on this project. And just think about how nice this area will be on a winter day. You've got the fire going, you've got the football game on, plenty of natural light coming in, both the new doors as well as the large window up above that's part of the original construction. And you've got the grill going over there. Pretty nice scenario, but it'll have to wait till the weather clears up so that we can get these doors installed. Once it does, there's a little cleanup to be done before the doors can go in, like trimming the stucco back neatly around the openings and removing a few bumps we found in the concrete so the thresholds will sit nice and level. Because the top of these doors are arched, we left the plywood sheathing long so that we could mark it to fit the doors exactly once they were out on the site. Then it's simply a matter of following the lines with the jigsaw to cut out any of the excess sheathing. House wrap goes on over the new plywood to seal out the moisture, and the same rubber gasket material that was used earlier under the wall goes down before the doors are set in place. The prep work pays off because the fit is perfect, and that's what we want. These are high-efficiency door units with insulated low E-glass panels, so we don't want to compromise that with a sloppy installation. Now, once we're sure that the jambs are plumb, the units can be nailed in place. For a little extra strength, Mark replaces several of the hinge screws with long 3-inch screws that'll tie into the studs behind the door jamb. With the doors in, the focus can now turn to the inside and modifying the fireplace wall for a flat panel TV the owner has his eye on. Now, after the opening is cut, a platform is framed inside the wall to support the TV. Then finally, the fireplace itself can be slipped into position and secured to the framing. Well, our doors are all in place. That means we're sealed off from the cold weather outside. Now, you know, when you're choosing any type of door or window for your house, especially one with a lot of glass like this, make sure it's low E glass. That means that it'll prevent any of the buildup, or at least reduce the heat buildup that you'll have when you have a lot of glass. It'll also prevent any fading from taking place on rugs or furniture or drapes, anything like that. Now, to keep this place comfortable during those cold months, the fireplace should do a lot to really provide the BTUs this room will need to keep it nice and comfortable. It's a gas fireplace, and it does provide a lot of heat, but to be comfortable all year long, homeowners are installing a new air conditioning and heating system that'll be positioned up in the large attic space that we have up above the existing part of the house. It'll be positioned horizontally, and then we'll have vents here and another vent over there that they have to cut and enlarge. Now, of course, with all the activity that's taking place in here, with carpenters doing some final work and our air conditioning and heating contractor spending a lot of time in the attic getting our new system in place, our stucco contractor's finally gotten to start on the outside. After that, he'll be moving inside. The first step in this process is hanging the cement backer board that'll form the foundation for our stucco system. This stuff is screwed in place, much like drywall, but it's a lot more difficult to cut than drywall since the chief component is cement. The trim and accent pieces, though, are cut from foam blocks, so it's a lot easier to work with. And once the trim is in place, the base coat starts going on. The fiberglass mesh they're embedding around the trim will add strength and kind of tie everything together. You know, there's a lot of detail in this small job, so it takes a little while to trim everything out. Now, while these guys keep plugging away at the stucco, let's head over to the home center and see what Emily has for this week's best new product.
Every now and then, a product comes along that really makes sense, like accent lighting without the need to hire an electrician for installation. The problem is that many of them are poorly made, they don't last very long, and frankly, they look really cheap. Well, Hampton Bay has solved all of these problems with their new LED puck lights. As the name implies, they're the size and shape of a hockey puck. And with a dozen LED lights to power each one, you can be sure you'll get some decent lighting. They produce very little heat, they're cool to the touch, and they are 50% more energy efficient than a standard light. These puck lights look great no matter where you put them. They have an ultra-long life of up to 20 years, and they're designed for do-it-yourself installation. They're perfect for display cabinets, under-cabinet lighting, or any other indoor application. And you can buy them individually for about $15 or in packs of 3 for just under $30. When you look at how simple they are to install, coupled with the energy efficiency and good looks, the Hampton Bay LED puck lights are a bright idea for any home.
Well, we're back out on this interesting renovation where we're converting outdoor living space into indoor space. You know, the homeowners love this area of their home, but they decided in order to enjoy it year-round, it needed to be heated and cooled. Well, we're helping them with that by enclosing what was open with a wall and installing some energy efficient door units that very much match the existing doors so that no one will know that we built on anything or any renovations taking place, which is always a good thing. And then to take the place of what was the focal point, the nice little fountain, now we have a fireplace and we'll be installing a large flat screen TV up above it. You know, this place is set up for entertaining with a nice grill in the corner that was part of the original construction. Has some very good ventilation to draw all that smoke out. Over on this side, our cabinet man added a nice little wine bar in this corner. You have your red wines up above, and you'll be able to put your white wines in the wine cooler that we'll be installing a little bit later. I also love the way the ceramic contractor installed this backsplash. Good little accent point, goes real well with the granite countertop. Well, you know, even though you have a nice area that's set up for entertaining, you got to do a little work from time to time. This is a little computer desk. You have your computers and books and different things here, and probably be a pretty nice little environment to sit there and browse around on the internet a little bit and maybe pay a few bills. Well, things are moving along on this project, and it won't be long before we can turn it over to the homeowners, but the next step is to change the stained ceiling into one that's white. Seems like a simple enough job, but when you're dealing with a ceiling this high, that means there's a lot of ladders and scaffolding involved in every step of the process, including all of the prep work. The fixtures that stay have to be covered up with plastic, and the ones that are being taken out, like the radiant heaters, have to be removed. Now the walls are taped and also masked with plastic before the painters gear up to start their spraying. Now, as you can see, spraying requires a lot of cover-up work, but that time is easily outweighed by the time you actually save painting the ceiling. Now, you can see how quickly this primer is going on with this airless sprayer, not to mention the fact that the finish will be a lot smoother than a roller or brush could create. Now, the sprayer is a professional tool, but you can rent them, usually for around $75 a day. Well worth the cost for the speed that it adds. At the moment, the air in here is a little foggy, but Alan's up in the attic with a great tip to help you clear the air during a renovation.
You know, it's really cool the way they tied in the return air into the existing gable vent, but it brings up a very good point. Anytime that you are in a remodeling project, you're going to create a lot of dust, and you don't want that dust to affect your existing heating and cooling system. So you want to change a filter regularly. Now, when I say change it regularly, I mean at least once a week during the progress of your remodeling. And this is one of the few times that I don't recommend a good filter. I'd get one of these. This has cost about maybe $1 or $2 at your hardware store. But check it out. Here's what it's already stopped going into this system. This is the type of things that really can bog down your heating and cooling system. But once it's done, the project is complete, then you want to pick up one of the nicer filters like this. Now, I will tell you this, they cost a lot more, but they last about 3 times longer, and once it's in place, well, you'll breathe a very healthy sigh of relief.
Danny, my kids and I have really bad allergies. Is there really anything worth using to keep the dust and pollen out of my house?
You know, it's really pretty ironic that as more people are recognizing the value of properly sealing their homes to increase energy efficiency, the resulting effect has been a dramatic reduction of indoor air quality. Now, there's a lot of heating and cooling systems out there that are designed to remove those allergens, but they can get a little expensive. For existing homes, your best bet is to replace those plain fiberglass air filters that you may have with a 2 or 3 stage filter. Just be sure to look for high density carbon or polycarbon in the filter's description. Also, make sure the filter is electrostatically charged, like this one here. A filter with electrostatically charged fibers will perform a lot better than just those regular filters. Now, you can find these filters at a lot of different home centers, but a lot of them can also be purchased online. Now, you'll pay a little bit more for these filters than normal filters, but they'll last about 3 times longer, and the health value is definitely worth it. We started off this week with a covered courtyard, basically an outdoor room, covered overhead and surrounded on 3 sides. It was a great spot, except for the constant supply of coal dust from the nearby port and all the heat during the summers. So we removed the owner's beloved fountain and went to work building a wall to enclose the room. A pair of great glass door units went in to keep the outdoor access and natural light, while the focal point shifted from the fountain to a really nice fireplace inside. To keep it all comfortable, we added a brand new heating and cooling system which was tucked away in the adjacent attic space. This new indoor patio is pretty spectacular. To complement the existing grill, we added a wine bar, so this place is perfect for entertaining. And along with the fireplace, Brenda's husband got his TV, but this one can be disguised as artwork when he isn't watching the ball game. The new doors blend beautifully with the ones that were already here, and because of their high efficiency, they'll keep the power bills in line as well. Now, the area seems even larger now that it's enclosed thanks to the newly painted white ceiling. As Brenda mentioned earlier, she was really concerned she would miss her fountain that served as the focal point out in the courtyard. Well, she has the next best thing, a water wall that circulates the water and still creates that sound of water that so many people find appealing. Hey, you know, this was a pretty tricky job, having to match the stucco, the floor tiles, the windows and doors, but it all worked out. And now they can use this room that they call their bonus room all year long instead of just when the weather's really nice. Hey, I hope you enjoyed seeing this one come together. Hope to see you next week here on Today's Homeowner. I'm Danny Lipford.